Season greetings, travelers. Welcome back to DarkDwellings. It's that time of year again where all things are bright, cheery, and magical. A time where people come together to spread joy and happiness. But have you ever wondered, is there an unholy side to your favorite annual celebration? Is your tradition tarnished by its own history? Well, I'm here to tell you, no merry celebration is without a monstrous past. In tonight's holiday special, not only are we going to be creating a historically accurate elf, but we're going all the way back to when things started. Back to when old jolly Saint Nick had a more sinister side, and how the tragic life of the first elf inspired the modern shelf elves you know today. So grab yourself some hot chocolate, settle in next to the fire, and enjoy this despicable DarkDwellings holiday special. I forgot that was beet juice, not hot chocolate. Long ago, on the outskirts of a distant village, a woman and her child came seeking shelter. At first, the villagers were wary but indifferent, offering little more than a roof and meager food. The mother and her child made their efforts to become part of the community, taking odd jobs and helping where they could. Yet, after their arrival, misfortune seemed to settle over the village. Crops failed, disease spread, and the bitter cold grew only harsher. Whispers began to stir among the townsfolk, suspicion coiling in their rumors. They wondered, had she brought some hidden curse with them? Soon the fine line between hunger and anger had been crossed. One silent night, the villagers gathered quietly, in need of someone to blame for this despair. "She's a witch," a local man shouted from the darkness. Silence fell amongst the crowd. The man's leather boots treaded heavily as the floor creaked beneath him, his pure white beard catching the light as he emerged from the shadows. A man the villagers revered, a saint. "All this evil started when she came to our land. She's a witch," he exclaimed. The villagers looked around at each other with a sense of enlightenment. And in that moment, that collective conclusion, nothing would change their minds. The villagers did not wait for morning. They came with lanterns and raised voices. The mother knew the sound of darkness when it dwelled. She hid her child in a secret storage space under the floor and whispered the only command she could give. "Do not open the door, no matter who comes," she said. Then she stepped outside to meet them. The house fell quiet. The boy waited. He listened to the wind claw at the shutters and the distant murmur of a crowd. He waited until the light from the lanterns vanished, until the village left nothing behind but silence. That's when the child heard something else, a sound from above. Heavy footsteps with a crunch of compacted snow. And then, a rush, like an avalanche, fell into the home, followed by the thud of leather boots. The boy peeked through the gaps in the floorboards and couldn't believe his own eyes. A man stood within the fireplace as snow fell around him from the chimney above. The man stepped into the house, his footsteps heavier now with the weight of the wet, creaking leather. He looked around the room and seen no one, but he felt a presence. "Your mother was very nice. Nicer than most," said the saint, as he wiped the soot from his mittens. "I can help you find her," the man said as he continued to look around the room. "But only if you help me." The boy did not understand how a stranger could know such things. He did not question why the man had come down the chimney instead of through the door. He only heard the promise. The old hinges from the storage door creaked. The man returned to the noise, and the boy emerged through the floor. With the despicable sight of his mother being taken by the village frozen in his mind, and with a tone in his voice far darker than his ears, he asked, "What do we have to do?" Outside, the night was impossibly quiet. Waiting in the snow stood a single reindeer, larger than any the boy had ever seen. Its breath steamed to the air, its dark eyes patient and kind. Its nose had a faint red discoloration, raw from the cold and strain. "This is my oldest companion," the saint said. "He will carry us." The boy, taking only a bag his mother left him, climbed onto the reindeer's back, clutching its coarse fur as the saint settled in behind him. The reindeer moved without command. Hooves struck ice. Snow gave way beneath them as the man guided them back to his home, farther north. "This world is not nice to children like you. It wasn't nice to your mother either," said the saint. He told the boy that some children grew twisted, and once it was learned, it would only harden with age. He said those children became the very villagers who carried your mother away. "Naughty children," the saint called them. They needed to be taken somewhere they could learn discipline, purpose, obedience. They would make toys for the nice children. They would repay the joy they had stolen. "As long as even one of these children remains, your mother is not safe," he said. "Help me collect them, every last one. When the world is clean, we can get your mother back," said the saint. The boy did not see the trap. He saw a path, and he took it. Over the years, the boy learned the saint's ways. He learned the routes through the snow, the places children hid, how to move swiftly, how to make fear feel like safety. The boy traveled with the reindeer that belonged to the saint. As the years went by, he began to care for the reindeer. They spent most of their days together, even when they returned home. The reindeer became protective of the child, warding off any threats along their travels, and keeping him warm as the nights grew colder and longer. As they traveled, the boy brought with him the bag his mother left to him. He learned to use it as a tool for his endless task. He could collect the naughty children with it, keeping them together until they returned home to the saint. Somehow the bag made room where none should exist. It was light when empty, and never heavy enough when full. At first, the boy collected the children from the saint's list. It was small in the beginning, with names only familiar to the village they came from. But eventually, the boy started to understand which ones weren't so nice. Eventually, he didn't need the list. He could sense it. The years carved the boy down. The cold numbed his fingers until they darkened. His ears stiffened and burned. His skin grew pale beneath endless night. Hunger became familiar, and pain became pointless. And still, he traveled. The lucky children in his collection were tasked with crafting endless toys for the nice. But some children weren't so lucky. Some were too small, too weak. Some were not meant to survive the journey north. The cold did not wait for them, and some children never made it. The boy gathered what the snow left behind and placed them where they would not be forgotten. He strung them together, binding them close to his body, a weight he could feel with every step. Not trophies, not a punishment, a reminder. When he walked, a soft clinking sound carried by the wind, a sound the boy learned to move with, and eventually, one others learned to fear. They would clink together like a soft winter chime, like a lullaby, a warning. In time, the saint noticed the bag the boy carried with him. He saw its potential, how it bent space, how it never filled, how it could increase the work. One night, after the boy returned from collecting, The saint demanded the bag be handed over. The boy refused. The saint had never known defiance from the boy, but he knew exactly how to break it. He separated the reindeer from him. The boy's screams echoed across the distant mountains, sharp enough to split ice. "Don't hurt him," he cried, a plea thrown helplessly into the cold. But nothing stood in the way of the saint and his mission. There was only the sound of shifting weight in the snow, and then a crack of an antler against the ice. It was over. The reindeer lay still. And though the night went silent, the heartbreak remained, frozen within the boy, where it would never thaw.
Wait. So you're telling me that Saint Nick, who is basically this boy's father, just murdered his pet, his best friend, right in front of him? I mean, could you imagine the trauma? Anyways, sorry, I just thought that part was interesting. Let's get back to the story now, shall we?
The boy could not leave the reindeer behind. He knelt in the snow and stayed with his friend until he could no longer feel the cold. He did the only thing he knew how to: collect. The friendship meant so much to the boy that he kept the reindeer with him on his travels. It shielded the boy from the wind and hid what little humanity was left within him. He continued the work. Soon word began to spread. When the children heard the soft clinking at night, they hid. When they saw antlers framed in the moonlight, they prayed. In time, parents began to learn. They started displaying crude figurines in their homes. But when the boy stumbled upon these figurines, he seen it as a signal. These were the homes where the naughty children lived. And so, every house that displayed one of these figurines soon lost a child to the night.
And there you have it, travelers, the legend of the Silent Night. And here is our completed, historically accurate sculpture based on all the lore and all the stories told. And you know, I think it turned out pretty nice considering this was my first time sculpting something. We gave him a proper action stance, like he's reaching out, trying to get the naughty children. We even included small details like the belt buckle and the children that didn't quite make it along the journey. This was a long one, so I'm gonna wrap things up here, put this guy away, and get myself some sleep. So travelers, if you enjoyed this one, you probably need some help because this one was pretty dark. But hey, while you're getting some help, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you're on the nice list, and let us know in the comments if you want to see us do more sculptures like this in the future. So until next year, travelers, always remember, keep it dark, and happy dwelling.
Storm?
Man, do you have any idea what that bag smells like? Hello? Oh, shit. What? Oh, come on. Come on. I'm not doing that. You got the wrong one. I'm a nice person. Hey. Hey, you can't just leave me here. I'm not afraid of you, elf. I got way bigger problems than you, buddy. You see my solar panel video? What's that noise? Oh, shit.